starting with step number 1, building the right mindset. Jaspreet, what does that have to do with building wealth? I used to guest teach in Detroit public schools, and I would ask the students there, what is your dream car, as an exercise? And then I would get answers from these students of things like a Ford Focus or a Dodge Challenger. And I said, okay, well, those are nice cars, but why not anything like a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini? I mean, this is your dream car. You can think and dream as big as you want. And the answer that I got was, Jaspreet, somebody like me in our situation growing up in this neighborhood could never have a car like that, so we can't even dream like that. And when your mindset limits your dreams, it limits your beliefs, what do you think is going to happen in your real life? This is why your mindset is so important, because if you don't believe that you're going to become wealthy, you will never have the opportunity to ever have that sort of financial success for yourself. There are 4 mindset shifts that you need to adopt. Write these down and start saying this to yourself every single day, that we can drill this into your head. Number 1, I will become wealthy. Number 2, money is abundant. Number 3, money is a tool. Number 4, it is my duty to become wealthy. Let's start with I will become wealthy. We just talked about this before. If you don't believe that you can become wealthy, it is going to be impossible for you. You have to have kind of this like stupid belief that you are going to become successful, and if nobody believes in you, well, you got to be the person that believes in you. Number 2 is that money is abundant. Now take a look at this. Let's assume that you make $50,000 a year, and this pie diagrams your income. And you start to learn about money, and now you put aside, let's say, $10,000 a year for your savings and investments, and now you get excited. You start to see the possibilities of becoming wealthy, and you say, I wish I could save more money. So what do? Now? Well, now you start to squeeze more pennies out of this pie. Maybe now you start to save $15,000 a year, and you say, Jaspreet, well, what can I do now to invest more? Maybe you can save and put aside $20,000 a year, but that means you're only living off of $30,000 a year. But if you start to think more abundantly, now what you can do is say, you know what? Yeah, I am making $50,000 a year. I'm saving and investing $15,000 a year. But what if now I could earn $500,000 a year? And now I can work to save and invest $150,000 a year. I'm still saving and investing the same percentage of my income. I'm just earning a lot more money. And the initial response that everybody says is, Jaspreet, my boss is not going to 10x my salary. And you're right. You probably won't see the 10x just tomorrow. But when you start to think in abundance, you start to change the way you operate. You start to change which information you consume. You start to change the things that you're doing, because now you're thinking in terms of abundance. And I want you to start thinking bigger, because unless you start thinking bigger, you're not going to see those bigger opportunities in front of you. Number 3, money is a tool. I grew up in a household where the concept of money and wealth was very taboo. You don't talk about these things. I grew up in a very traditional Indian house. My parents are immigrants from a state in India called Punjab, and we didn't grow up talking about money or wealth or investing. It was one of those things you just don't talk about it. Don't worry about money, don't stress about money, yet you go to work every single day, all day long, even on weekends, even on holidays, just to make money. It's a very weird concept. And once you understand that the reason why a lot of people are insecure to talk about money, that we put these smoke screens up about money, is because we're scared. And when you can start to get through that smoke screen, you can understand that the reason why we have these insecurities is because we don't understand how money plays a part in our lives. Because we get caught up with this idea that, oh, if we start talking about money, it means we've become this greedy human being that's consumed with money. But that doesn't have to be the case. And I like to break it down with this. I call this my quadrant fit theory. That if you want to live a happy and fulfilled life, there are 4 aspects of life that you have to be fit in. Number 1 is you have to be physically fit. I'll put that at the bottom here. That doesn't mean you have to have a 6-pack, but if you're morbidly obese, you're on your deathbed, you're very sick, the only thing on your mind is being healthy again. And so when you are healthy, now you can start to have millions of dreams and wishes and wants, but you can't do that unless you're healthy. Above physical fitness, now you have to be mentally fit. Mentally fit means now you're surrounding yourself with people that keep you happy, not toxic people that are going to keep tearing you down and making you feel like crap. You are happy and you feel loved and you feel supported, and maybe that means you got to start cutting out some people out of your life. Maybe that means you got to start working on yourself. Maybe that means you got to figure out what actually makes you and keeps you happy. You got to have the purpose and figure out what does that mean for your mental fitness. Then above that, you have to be spiritually fit. This doesn't mean you have to be religious, but you got to have a purpose. What's your reason for wanting to get out of bed every single morning? If you achieve your financial freedom, you have $10 million in the bank. Well, what's your reason for getting out of bed now? You got to have the spiritual purpose. What is your reason for wanting to still serve and help? And then on top, you have financial fitness. This now, when you have the money, this allows you to amplify every other part of your life, because when you have the financial fitness, this means now that you can pay for that house, and you can pay for the car, and you can pay for the vacations, you can pay for your wife's purse, you can pay for your husband's gift without having to stress about the price. You can pay for your parents' health care, you can pay for your kids' college. Money now allows you to do more things that keep you happy, as opposed to being that thing that actually makes you happy. And when you understand that money is a tool, well, now you can use that money as fuel to amplify your life. That's the value of money. It's not that thing that's going to make you happy, but it amplifies the person that you are. And then finally, it is my duty to become wealthy. Listen, I don't know how people feel comfortable sleeping at night when they know that they can't take care of their family, they can't provide. Look, it is your duty. It's not the government's duty. It's not your friend's duty. It's not your parents' duty. It is your duty to take care of yourself, to take care of your family. Okay? Period. Like, it's your duty. Once you laid the foundation with your mindset, now we can move on to the practical things of what you do with your money with number 2, saving your first $2,000. Number 2 and number 3 are what I call the financial danger zone. If you do not have $2,000 saved up, you have to do whatever it takes right now to save that $2,000 as fast as possible. And you should not be spending money on anything else until you save that $2,000. That means, yes, no more going out to eat at restaurants, no more vacations, no more going on to the mall and just to shop, and no more Netflix. If you don't have $2,000 in the bank to cover an emergency, I mean, this is just the base. If you don't have that $2,000, how can you feel comfortable sitting in the evenings watching Netflix, knowing that if the window breaks, if your kid gets sick, if something were to happen to your car, now all of a sudden you have to go into credit card debt. You have to have at least, at the very bare minimum, $2,000 put aside to start your emergency savings. This is not money that you're going to use to buy a TV or to buy a car. This is money that's just there to protect you against an emergency, like you losing your job. Once you understand that, then you can move on to number 3. And number 3 is paying off your high interest debts. These are things like your credit card debts. These are things like your payday loans. All of these high interest debts need to be paid off as soon as possible, because these things are skinning you alive financially. And we don't realize how expensive they really are until we start to do some math. So let's have a little bit of fun. Let's assume that I give you $8,000 today and you invest this into a great investment that you find that will pay you 25% a year, and you never invest another penny. You only invest the $8,000 that I give you today, and you let your money sit there and compound for 30 years. If you do that, you are gonna have millions of dollars after these 30 years. So you're gonna have almost $6.5 million from the $8,000 initial investment. And now you're gonna say, well, Jaspreet, where am I gonna get the $8,000 and where am I gonna get this 25% return every single year? Well, this is the average credit card debt in America today for households with credit card debt. And this is about the average APR on that credit card, which means this transaction is happening all day, every day, and you're the one that's paying this interest. Who are you paying it to? To Amex, to Visa, to MasterCard. So yes, this can happen, and it is happening. And it's you, if you have credit card debt, that's paying that, which is why I call this the financial danger zone. If you don't have $2,000 saved up, or if you have credit card debt, you got to use all your might to get that stuff paid off as fast as possible. No restaurants, no vacations, no Netflix until you are out of the financial danger zone. Once you fight your way out of the financial danger zone, now things get fun, because now we can actually start creating a system for your money to put your money to work. What every wealthy person does is they give their money a job before their money even hits their bank account, because they need to know how much money they can spend, how much money they're going to invest, and how much money they're going to save, versus everybody else. The majority of people is they make money, they spend their money, and then they wonder where all their money went. And then if there's any money left over, that's when they consider saving or investing some. And this is where you have to change the way that you think, because we know now that wealthy people become wealthy because of their investments, period. So you have to have money to invest first. Wealthy people want to invest first. Everybody else spends first and then invests if there's anything left. So this is where you want to have some sort of system with your money. And a simple rule of thumb that I teach is the 75-15-10 plan, which says for every dollar that you earn from here on out, 75 cents is the maximum that you are allowed to spend. 15 cents is the minimum that you are going to invest, and 10 cents is the minimum that you're going to save. Now, the first thing you're going to say is, Jaspreet, where in the world am I going to find this extra money because I'm struggling paying all my bills from spending all of my money? And I want you to think about it like this. If the government were to come tomorrow and raise your taxes by 25%, what are you going to do? You're going to complain and scream and cry and be upset, and then you're going to find a way to pay it. Because if you don't pay it, you're going to go to jail. Now, I want you to think about this like a tax. You are taxing yourself. You're not taxing yourself to make the government rich now. You are taxing yourself to make yourself rich. But the way I want you to do this is much more strategically. And what I mean by that is I want you to go to the bank and create 3 different bank accounts. I want you to have one bank account for your spending money, one bank account for your investment money, one bank account for your savings money. And what's going to happen now is when you get paid, this money should be deposited into this account. But this is where you have to use some automations. Yes, your bank should allow you to do this for free. If they don't allow you to do this for free, find a new bank. And what I mean by that is create an automatic deposit here and deposit here. That way you don't have to think about it. And the reason why I want you to do that and create those 3 different bank accounts is because when you manage your money all out of one bank account, it is very easy to accidentally spend this money or this money when you see that sale on the brand new TV. So instead of doing that, create separate bank accounts. That way you know that this is all that you can spend. And this is actually the same reason why the government takes their taxes out of your paycheck automatically, because they know that if it was your job to pay your taxes at the end of the year, well, most people would have spent all of their money and they're not going to have money to pay their taxes. That's why I want you to separate your money. That way you know how much money you can spend, how much money you can invest, and how much money you can save, and it's automatically put into the separate bank accounts. Now, if you are an investor and you want to know what's happening in the financial markets, or you just want to keep up to date with the financial news, my team at Briefs Media publishes a free daily report called Market Briefs, where we break down what's happening in things like the economy, housing, stocks, crypto, and global markets into a fun, witty, and easy to read newsletter. We have hundreds of thousands of investors that are reading Market Briefs every morning. And when you join Market Briefs, you're also going to get access to my investing masterclass as a complimentary bonus just for joining Market Briefs. So if you'd like to join, I have that link for you down in the description below. Now, when it comes to actually investing your money, there's a lot of different strategies that you have, because you can invest your money into stocks, you can invest your money into real estate, you can invest your money into your own business, you can invest your money many different ways. And I'm not going to go too deep into that in this video, just because I've done so many videos on how do you actually invest your money, and that's going to derail us from everything else that I want to go over. So just understand that there's many different ways to invest your money, but you just have to put this money to work to actually build your wealth. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.